against the harmful stereotypes that have been perpetrated against the men. I'm coming here to represent myself and a few. We living in a century where we living on lies. Society said the girls and we have to comply. We gonna pay reviews, we don't get reviews. Not how we get broken and we fall into the news. But it's all the brothers say we gonna take a stand. Representing hope, bringing in the brand. We gonna take a brother hand in hand. Empower, elevate every boy, every man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my life slowly. Look close, you're gonna see a better man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my life slowly. Look close, my friend. I have a right, I have a right, I have a voice, I have a voice. Make it right, make it right. We don't have to fight this. I have a right, I have a right, I have a voice, I have a voice. Make it right, make it right. We don't have to fight this. My brother said we here for you. I understand the struggle cause I've been there too. No definition that can come by you. On the belly mental pain that they put me through. But look upon the horizon. See mankind winning and rising. Rejecting, coming and fighting. Oh Lord, this is so exciting. Learn me. I just want to reveal my life slowly. Look close, you're gonna see a better man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my life slowly. Look close, my friend. I have a right, I have a right, I have a voice, I have a voice. Make it right, make it right. We don't have to fight this. I have a right, I have a right, I have a voice, I have a voice. Make it right, make it right. We don't have to fight this. We living in a century where we living on lies. Society said the girls and we have to comply. We gonna pay reviews, we don't get reviews. Not how we get broken and we fall into the news. But it's all the brothers say we gonna take a stand. Representing hope, bringing in the brand. We gonna take a brother hand in hand. Empower, elevate every boy, every man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my life slowly. Look close, you wanna see a better man. Learn me. I just want to reveal my life slowly. Look close, my friend. I have a right, I have a right, I have a voice, I have a voice. Make it right, make it right. We don't have to fight this. I have a right, I have a right.
Welcome everybody. Today is International Day of the Elimination of Violence Against Men. Did you know that? I'm sure many of you had no idea that was the reality of today. And so what we want to do is to bring some emphasis to this important day that is in the lives of your men and our boys. International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Men and Boys. You do know that there is such a day called the International Day for the Elimination or for us to eradicate domestic violence against women. And we give praise to them for that. What we want to do is bring some emphasis on the one for men. In my personal view, we should not even be having one for men and one for women. We should have probably a day for the elimination of violence, full stop. But be that as it may, this is not my cards to call. But I'm Michael Stewart, and I'm the ambassador for the International Men's Day that is held every year, November 19th. On my program last night, I had the distinguished pleasure of having Dr. Jerome Tiloxing, one of our very own Trinidadian, who is the founder of International Men's Day. This day is recognized on November 19th. He's also the founder of World Day of the Boy Child, May 16th. And he is also the founder of the International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Men and Boys. A man who has been putting in quite a bit. We had also on that program Mr. Rishi Bansraj. Yes, and he is the ambassador for the day, such as today, International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Men and Boys. So we want to bring some emphasis on it, and we want to help you to be able to understand the true import of this significant day. So I want to begin by helping us to be able to appreciate that this has been around for 6 years. Although it is around for 6 years, and we have International Women's Day recognized by the United Nations, International Day against violence against women recognized by United Nations, there is some sort of resistance or ambivalence, probably a better word, when it comes to having the international days that regard men or boys. Out of all the days that the United Nations has recognized, not one is for men, not one is for boys, but we do have a significant number of them for women and girls. So we have to push on whether or not we get that level of support from the various institutions that claim equality but demonstrate inequality, even in our governmental system and our institutions or divisions and ministries, etc. Whenever we talk about gender-based violence, usually we only talk about gender-based violence as far as women, in favor of looking at the woman's situation and ignoring that of the men. That, we say, we need to be able to put a stop to. And I want to be very passionate about that, being the father of 3 boys and the grandfather of 3 boys. And so I am invested in this thing. And also I have brothers and so on, and so you know how that goes down. So I want to bring for you some of the statistics that they really bring forth when it comes to men and boys, when it comes to what's taking place in society. All right. So if you join me, this is what we understand is in Trinidad and Tobago. Suicide rate that we've had over the number of years, and you will see there that men really are 82% as far as suicide is concerned, whereas 18% with women. And I don't want it to be that we're just comparing that, therefore let us reduce the support we are giving to women. I don't want anybody leaving here with that false dogma that we are saying reduce what we're giving to women. We are saying we support that. But let us at the same time, with the same fervor, consider the state of men in this country. 82% is suicide. So when we take it from 2011, males were given 77% were committing suicide, while at the same time women 16. And this must therefore signal something that is happening. 86 in 2012, 21 that you had in 2012. In 2013, out of 113 suicides, 89 of those were men, 24 were women. In 2014, out of 104 suicides, 90 were men and 14 women. And and that is how it has been going. So you'll see that, although I'm reading it backwards, you'll see therefore that we have over the years a consistent rise and a consistent disparity when it comes to suicide. Something must trigger us, and that is what I want us to recognize. Something must trigger, something is going on with men and boys, why there is such a high suicide. I know for sure, I am positive it is not a hobby. I am positive it is not because they choose to commit suicide. It must be something driving our men and boys to this suicide. And that's why we need to put some focus, put the spotlight on it. So I had the pleasure of going out of Trinidad and Tobago now and looking at the state of what we see outside, what are men saying outside. And I went to South Africa. And I want us to go to that for a short to be able to see what's happening on the outside.
Non-profit organization against men abuse, which is Men for Real, say the country is not doing enough to protect men who are victims of domestic abuse and gender-based violence. The organization says a high number of male victims of abuse in the country commit suicide or end up developing anger that leads them to committing violent crimes, including murder. South Africa is counted among the worst countries in the world when it comes to domestic violence and gender-based violence. Our reporter, Silvan Khachawi, has more.
Gender-based violence, one of the leading scourges that the country is fighting. Men say most initiatives of gender-based violence only focus on protecting women, leaving male victims helpless.
Most men are being abused even verbally. Most men are being beaten up in the houses, but they're closing up, they don't speak out. Do not allow yourself to bottle in and you end up committing suicide. You end up, killing people that you're not supposed to kill. Most men right now, they are close in jail and they're not supposed to be there. Our brothers are in jail. Our men who are supposed to be outside are in jail right now. But they became perpetrators. Before they were perpetrators, they were victims themselves.
Male victims say on many occasions they are not taken seriously at police stations when they report the abuse. One of them is 56-year-old father of four, Jan Nkosi. Nkosi says he was a victim of domestic abuse for 7 years. On numerous occasions, when he tried to report cases, he was not helped. His abuser, on the other hand, would often report a false case and he would be arrested.
I was locked up at Mabatu police station for 3 weeks. In that cell, there were other men with the same similar problem that I have. All of us were talking of our children and our women that are abusing us in our houses. But we, FSN, when we go there, we are not taken serious because at some point when my case was discharged, I went there. It was not taken seriously. The only time they took me seriously is when I talked to the superintendent to tell him that, look, I've got rights also. I can make a statement, I can open a case. That is when now I got a protection order against her.
Another victim, a 47-year-old father of three, Kuos Maregwa. His story is similar to Nkosi's.
Abuse. My ex-wife then started falsely accusing me of raping and physically assaulting her. Yet, I have never laid a hand on her. That's when I realized that my life was at risk because I'll end up in jail for things I never did. I now have a protection order against her because I realized that my life is at risk because she calls me even at night to come fetch our child. I did it for myself.
The Department of Correctional Services says they have programs for inmates to open up and get help.
We do have programs designed at certain individual crimes for sexual offense, for murder. We do have anger management, and we also have these programs are categorized by therapeutic and non-therapeutic. Therapeutic programs are those offered by social workers and psychologists, and non-therapeutic ones are offered by correctional officials.
Men are pleading for platforms where they can open up and be protected. They are also pleading.
All right, so you heard it, right? So you heard what the men there are suffering, and it is the same thing here. And when you check other Caribbean islands, that's the same narrative that you're hearing. But notice you're talking about therapeutic restoration for these men who are being abused. Where is the attempt to restrict those who are causing these men these serious hurts? Because in the same South Africa, the president has declared that he's instituting harsher punishment for men who abuse women. They're going to have longer jail terms. They're going to almost lose them in jail because of what they're doing. Something like when you have two children fighting and one has done something wrong, even though one triggered the other one, you beat the one who responded to it. And you beat the one badly, and thinking the more harsh you punish that one who responded to the behavior is the more that you'll keep the child in line. What you're going to do is create vexation, anger, and atrocities. And in society, when men feel unheard, when they are triggered, and there's no support, no catch net to be able to catch them, and yet institute greater punishment for them, that may be the reason why the suicide rate is so high. Loss of hope. And sometimes, not only suicide, but homicide murder, suicide. You understand? That's why we've got to really sit down seriously and talk this thing out. If we don't do that, we are going to face situations that we shall regret for a long time. To only address the infractions of men and ignore the overt and covert acts of some women who trigger men is not equality. It leads to a gender war that would not end well for anyone. I hope that today we are able to understand and appreciate now even more International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Men and Boys, and yes, against women too. I'm Michael Stewart. And I hope that we are now able to enjoy the rest of this day in reflection.
We don't play. Them Petrian know what come up, we breed every day. Your Honor, them indict me for standing up against the harmful stereotypes that have been perpetrated against the men. I come here to represent myself and a few. We living in a country where we living on lies. Society said the girl